Welcome back to another episode of Car Shopping Roast, and today we're going to look at some older used cars and whether in fact they're worth driving or they should just chuck them. Let's take this from the top, and we're going to pull up some classified ads today and walk through them and talk about some of the goods, bads, and absolute uglies. Let's get right into it now.
Life's too short to drive boring cars.
All right, okay, let's take this from the top. What do we have here? As I scroll through, I notice we can find the first one on our list is a 2006 Kia Spectra. We know Kias are an absolute disaster. Look, they're only asking $2,500, so it's not the worst thing in the world. And if you need something cheap, I guess if it just keeps getting down the road, can you say? But this one here only has 132,000 kilometers, folks. That's only about 75,000, 80,000 miles. There's not a lot of miles to put on it since 2006. Clearly, in 20 years, this vehicle has not been driven all that much. It does come with a manual gearbox, but look, you'll need that manual because it constantly stalls. And you know how you can push start a manual car? It allows you to run the car if the starter's gone or doesn't run very well. So it helps. With a manual gearbox, you're going to need it. And because it's a Kia, the quality isn't quite there either. But you'll know this exciting, exorbitant color. We see gray. It's absolutely spectacular. No, it's not really that spectacular. What can I say? 2 owners, and what we have is it says, low kilometers, check engine light. No need for car anymore. No kidding. Who needs that car? With a check engine light, it's probably got a bad rod knock. It's probably ticking. And the engine's they probably poured a bunch of sawdust down the engine and just to try to make it quiet for a while. Sadly, I don't want to say that, but realistically, this doesn't look like a particularly good car. Now, for the price, is it worth it? Worst case, you drive it away and it blows up. You know, the scrapyard might give you, $200-300 for it, but Kia Spectra, what an absolute catastrophe. All right, and what do we have here? We have another little hot rod, little gem. Look at, we scroll through this. Wow, look at that shiny red paint, Ferrari red. We have a 2013 Fiat 500, and we know Fiats have always struggled with some reliability. Look at that great little interior. Look, looks like a manual gearbox. No, that's an automatic, just has the shifter, and it's in very, very pretty shape, but this is only 50,000 kilometers on it. And it's an automatic. Yeah, there it says red exterior. It says it's registered and it's only 50,000 kilometers, but it's already 12 years old. So they're only putting on maybe 4,000 kilometers a year. It's probably one of those vehicles you're too scared to drive it too far. We know that the reputation for some of these Fiats is not necessarily the strongest. And the 500, the sales are in the toilet, even for the 500e. I mean, speaking of toilets, doesn't it sort of, no. Anyway, looking around, look, it's got that little sawed-off back end there. And they're basically saying very economical 1.4 liter 4-cylinder engine. And they say only 50K. The car is suitable for beginners who are still trying to learn to drive or for visitors to Canada. Yeah, you mean people that don't know any better and they'll buy a car? Wow, look at that. So that's the engine, multi-air, not sure it's worth it, but $8,500 gets you into a 2013 Fiat 500. Take your chances, folks. That could be one for you. Wow, here's another one. As we scroll in here, we find a 2001 Pontiac Aztek. I didn't think there was any of these left on the road. Look at this, a 2001. They're only asking $3,000, but look at this beauty. Look at this hot rod as we scroll through. Wow, shiny red paint. It's a good thing it has all that lower body cladding on it because that's kind of hiding. Usually there's a lot of rust buried underneath there. Wow, that is probably arguably one of the ugliest cars that were ever created. Next to possibly the Gremlin or the Pacer. Remember those vehicles? Whoa, look at that. Remember you could get the tent package with these things? I don't know if this has a tent package, but oh, look at that. What a beauty. Wow. Look at the interior. Oh, I love that interior. Remember we saw some vendors doing that? Volkswagen was doing this. I think Hyundai, Kia were doing these weird, quirky little fabric interiors. Look at that high level of Fisher-Price interior quality there. Wow, right there. Look, nicely, freshly vacuumed out, ready straight from the auction. And as we look, whoa, it looks to have some great speakers back there, all kinds of buttons, tiny ball tires. But let's take a look here. And it says this is a 2001 Pontiac Aztek 3.4 liter V6, front wheel drive, air shocks in the back, AC works, great. Recent head gasket replacement. No, you don't say. A GM product with a head gasket? needs a tune-up to run great. Haven't I preached that to you? Needs a tune-up. Every time somebody says, oh, it just needs a tune-up, it's got a little rough idle, needs a tune-up, that usually means there's something catastrophically wrong. Blown head gaskets, maybe it's got burnt valves. Why did it blow a head gasket? It's probably got broken piston rings, maybe it might have bad valves or some other issue there. You be the judge of that one, but all electrics work. New parts since we've owned it, probably the 10th owner by now. Front hubs, front struts, rear shocks, battery sway bar, head gasket, and assorted other gaskets. Dry inside, probably not the engine very dry though. And what they're saying, assorted and other gaskets dry. Yeah, bright red with gray lower panels. Windshield in good shape. $2,000 OBO. Well, I think, you know what? Looking at this little rig, I think, well, it's an option, but 239,000 kilometers, probably ready for the scrapyard, I would say. And here we have another one, a great little hot rod. Whoa, one-eyed Willie, I'd say, is winking at you. We're looking at this little Mini Cooper, 2008. Let's scroll through and see what this thing has to offer. Well, it looks like it doesn't show a lot of love. It's parked in the back 40 there somewhere. And, oh, little owie right there, a little, probably back that out, probably grab the edge of that jet ski. Whoa, is that what the engines look like in these things? And look, the interior, we got some body panels in there, we got some other bits and pieces, and more parts, and more parts, and more parts. 260,000 kilometers, I'd say it probably did its time. $2,000 is all they're asking. Let's read about this. It has a blown, oh, there you go, it has a blown engine. Well, I guess that would be a mini BMW, right? Blown engine, I'd rather not part it out as it takes time and effort, taking up space, so I'm looking to get rid of this whole thing. I'm not sure. I mean, if you're looking for parts, it might be a great parter outer, but I mean, this does kind of speak to BMWs. I'm surprised that they got 260,000 kilometers out of this unit with a blown engine. It's probably the Prince engine, if you will. The 2008, yeah, I believe once they hit about 2014, then the Mini Coopers and the Coopers were getting a little better. The engines were a bit better in terms of reliability, but this is one of the early generations, clearly saw its better days, if we're being honest. So there you go. If you want a worn out, clapped out, banged out, and burnt out engine, Cooper, that might be your bet. Oh, here's another one. I can totally relate to this. Look at this. We have a 2007 BMW 3 Series, $22,000, man, oh man. I had a car just like this. I had an '07, mine was a coupe, two-door coupe, mine was rear-wheel drive, 6-speed manual, but I only had 100,000 kilometers on mine and it was nicely maintained. They're asking 22 grand. There's gotta be something special here. But look, we have the hood up, but that's normal resting position for most BMWs, particularly of this era. I mean, you know, most soldiers, you know, this is the normal position. Well, in a 3 Series BMW with a turbo from that generation was normally with the hood up. Let's take a look. Oh, we got some nice mods under the hood. Look at that. Big parts. Ooh, custom exhaust on there. Look at that. Turbo. Nice. Beautiful parts. I mean, I've seen a lot of these on eBay. I don't know. Some nice, look at some beautiful welds in there. Oh, all kinds of great parts. Fancy clutch. You need all that clutching power to keep the power together. Oh, there's the hood up again. That was a position that I knew my car mostly was the hood up because I constantly found myself fixing it, whether it was coolant leaks or oil leaks. Oh, there's a list of mods. We have some performance parts. You see a GTX 3582R turbo, max pressure, 45 millimeter wastegates, 7.5-inch race intercooler VRSF. I had VRSF downpipes on mine, charge pipe, blower, billet blow-off valves, BC low adjustable coilovers, MHD tuned. So there's a lot of mods, but what I found, a lot of these cars, you probably want to keep them fairly stock because as you start modifying these, that's when they start falling apart. But let's take a look here. What has he got on the side here? 2007 335i Sport Package twin scroll single turbo. Haven't dynoed it. Pushing approximately 550 wheel horsepower. Classic, right? You know, the additive number of, you know, a 2 horsepower add-on for an air filter, 10 horsepower for exhaust, 20 horsepower for this. You know, you even get extra horsepower for stripping some of the decals off of these cars is what I've heard. But I mean, so they say. Looking to buy a house, shoot me a reasonable offer. I put $28K into this since I've had it. See, most people put $20, $25, $28, $30,000 just in for maintenance in a short period of time because they're constantly leaking or blowing something or check engine lights. I have some tires and goodies that come with the car. Car's from Alberta. Amazing car for drifting. Mods are in the pictures. And feel free to ask questions. No trades. Cash is king. Take your chance with those, folks. I told you, wastegate rattle, this one won't have that issue. It's got all totally different parts. But that's a lot of miles, 216,000 kilometers. I only had 100,000, like I said. Looks like you're going to get your hands full on that bad boy. But hey, to each their own. 2007, 335 BMW. Oh, and look at this little gem here. What do we have here? In its position, it's definitely up on a pedestal. As you can see, we have this glorious little Nissan Pathfinder. And scroll through, look at that. Oh, it has low Ks on it. It loves hiding out in the weeds. Look at this unit. Not even barely any rust on it. Barely. We've got an automatic transmission, some velour seats.
Lila, it's real velour.
Definitely in their day, that was a real nice little gem. According to this, it's a 92 Pathfinder for 850 bucks. 28,000 kilometers. Wow. Must be mint. Automatic transmission, exterior's white, interior's red, gasoline. It says, I have a distributor and it needs out-of-province safety. Was an Alberta vehicle, good farm truck or parts truck asking $850 OBO. It's basically a gimme. Needs a distributor. I have a distributor. What is it? Doesn't, I'm assuming it doesn't run. Yeah, see, people are selling just about anything these days. And during that whole cost of living increases and the price vehicle increases that we've seen in the last couple of years, you know, it's not uncommon for a dealer to take a vehicle like this, slap it together, crank it, throw a little ether in the intake, get it started, park it in the back 40, and then sell this for $28,000 to the next unsuspecting sucker. Unfortunately, these are the kind of vehicles that started to, you know, filter through and make their way to the car lots. I mean, there was a time when you would never even make classifieds, let alone car lots, but now you're seeing these types of vehicles all over the car lots because there was a shortage of good quality used vehicles. These are the types of vehicles that you would actually find quite often just sort of making their way. And what can you say? Hey, you want a nice little Nissan? They are going potentially, I mean, the word has it, Nissan might be faced going out of business in the next 12 months. Honda has sort of gravitated and grabbed hold, but it's not done until it's done. So we'll see how that all pans out. You might have to learn to fix these yourself because if the dealer network's not around to fix it for you, you definitely want to be a hands-on type of do-it-yourselfer for these types of vehicles. So remember when $10,000 and $11,000 would get you a pretty nice late model vehicle with low miles? I mean, you could get yourself a low mileage Honda Civic, Honda Accord, Camry, you know, maybe that was 5 years old and it was only a few years ago, but what does $10,000 get you today? Let's open up this search and see what 10 grand actually gets us. Okay, so we search between 10 and 12, $11,000. Here, right here, 2015 Jeep Cherokee 10.5 for that, 170,000 kilometers. A Jeep Wrangler in 05, same thing for 163,000. So there's some Jeeps in here. You'll notice there's a lot of Jeeps. Jeeps, Grand Cherokees, all kinds of Jeeps, Wranglers, they're all high mileage units. We have a little Kia Sportage for 2016. That thing's pretty much worn out. What do we have down here? Alfa Romeo, we have a 159 2.2 Sport Wagon. Ouch. Good luck in keeping that one on the road. Yeah, they don't want to chance it there. GMC Terrain, yeah, if you can get past the blown timing chains and the burning oil, I mean, that might be an option right there. Down here we have a Land Rover Range Rover Sport. We already know what kind of fun and frivolity you can expect there. We saw that previously. BMW 4 Series of 2017. Whoa, that seems like a good deal. Probably something wrong there. Jeep Wranglers, see more Jeeps, lots of Jeeps. Audi Q7 and 07. Yeah, you're begging for carbon fouling. You're begging for water pump issues. You're begging for all kinds of troubles there. Oh, look at this little gem, a 2017 Jeep Renegade, four-wheel drive Trailhawk. Then we have a Audi Q5, a 2013. Look how these things depreciate. $11,000 for a 2013 Q5. When you think of that vehicle was probably close to 50, 60 grand Canadian. Look how much money you've lost. Volkswagen Jettas as well. We have a 19 for 10 grand. That actually sounds like a good deal. Why is that one so cheap? That one actually does seem quite cheap. It's only 6 years old. Let's check that out. Automatic. Comes with power windows, locks. It has hail damage. Okay, so that's what's going on. That's fair. Oh, look, we have a 2012 BMW X1 for 10 grand. 120,000 kilometers. But remember, 100,000 when we're at 70, 80,000 miles or 120,000 kilometers is where you're starting to see water pumps, thermostats, cooling lines. That's where everything starts to crap out on these BMWs. The Jeep CJ7, I like those Jeep CJ7s, but they rot out like there's no tomorrow. Oh, hey, there's a RAV4, 182,000. How much? Ooh, that's not a bad deal. Wranglers, more Jeeps. Look at this. We have a Ford LTD 1972 on lowrider with some funky wheels there. Oh, Jeep Wranglers. Lots of Wranglers. Hey, we have a TJFJ Cruiser. Oh, but look at the mileage, almost 400,000 kilometers on it. Won't find too many Dodge products with those kind of miles on it. We have a Jeep Wrangler here, Jeep Grand Cherokees, Jeeps, Audi TT. Yeah, look at that. 10 grand for that. X5 BMW. So there seems to be a theme here. We have a Mini right there. Hey, that could be a cute little ride. What's the poop on that one? Manual gearbox, 113,000. 5-speed manual, leather seats, moonroof, heated. Hey, this could be a little gem. Look at that. It runs great and was just in and gone over by Mini and had a new clutch put in. I do have receipts. You know, that actually could be a cute little ride. Look, you have the moonroof, manual gearbox. That's a cute car. I'm not even going to kid you. That could be a fun little car for 10 grand. But beware, water pumps, thermostats. I mean, they're probably getting rid of it for a reason. More BMW X6. Hey, Jaguar right there, XF. As we scroll through, and we see more Land Rovers. Look at this BMW 3 Series. Got this beautiful little burgundy purple wrap. A 2012 with only 59,000 kilometers. What's wrong with that picture? All-wheel drive, extra traction. What else is going on here? Snow and ice, spacious interior, suspensions. Oh, okay. There's definitely something brewing in that one there. I don't think they're telling you the whole story. 2012, I mean, it's only got 59,000 kilometers. I'm not sure if I'd buy that, but who knows? Hey, we have a Challenger right here for 11 grand. Do you want that? What do we have here? Chevy Equinox, 150. But we know the engines blow on those things. They blow, burn oil. The timing chains were an issue. So they're not great vehicles. Again, there's a consistency here. There's Nissans, there's a lot of Jeeps. There's some BMWs and Audis in here. Kias seem to be a common theme as well. You don't see where's the last Honda or Toyota other than that one RAV4, but that's kind of an anomaly. Oh, here's one. Tacoma double cab. Look at that little ride. That's a pretty truck, actually, all polished up nice. Will not respond. It is still available. Tacoma runs and drives great. 3-inch lift kit on it. 1.5-inch face. No frame rust. Rear bumper and tailgate are dented from backing into a tree. Actually doesn't sound bad. 260,000 kilometers. That's actually a nice little ride. Look at that. V6 yet. VVTi. That's definitely good to run for hundreds of thousands of miles. That actually could be a decent purchase. A little fender bender right there, but a pretty truck. So if you're looking for that $10,000 range, you're going to probably find some beaters. You know, you can find lower mileage vehicles like the Chevy Trax, GMCs, Volkswagens, BMWs with lower mileage. Or if you look at Toyotas and Hondas, you can find 200,000-300,000 kilometers, you know, in that 120, 150,000 mile range. And there's definitely some good options here. BMW 3 Series right there, 200,000 kilometers. Surprising it went that far. Hey, here's another one. Oh, 300,000 kilometers on this Tacoma double cab, Porsche Cayenne. Definitely some options, but that's what 10 grand gets you nowadays. You know, high mileage, or perhaps some of the real problem childs, like lots of these GMC Terrains. That tells you a bit of a story. There's lots of them out there. I know there was lots of them made, but there's lots of problems with those vehicles. So if you get 10 grand in your pocket, you still have some selection now. I do see prices have come down. Like there's more selection out here now than there was even, 2 years ago. This volume of vehicles was simply not available. But at the end of the day, let's just cut to the chase and say, look, if you're looking for a used vehicle, we're going to do more roast. We're going to look at some new cars, used cars. We're going to dive into luxury cars, the luxury car specific. We're going to dive into some of the real pieces of junk out there. And we're going to tackle these used cars, new car buying experiences, and roasts on Fridays. With all of that said, if you're looking for something more reliable, you want something newer, definitely right there, 2025's most reliable and 2025's least reliable vehicles this year. Just hope to see each and every one of you real soon. Bye-bye.